just finishing our setup here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This evening we're going to chant. Kirtan is chanting, and chanting is singing to God with devotion from the heart. And it's a great blessing to be able to share this together. And it's a little harder to share it online, but it's still a blessing. And so this evening we'll begin with a very sacred chant, and the words are Sanskrit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Feel the vibration. Many Sanskrit chants and mantras you can translate them in words into English, but the real power comes through the vibration of the sound, the vibration of syllables and energies, feeling that has been chanted for thousands of years by great saints and masters. And so feel that energy permeating your being as we chant together. And this evening, while we chant, sing out. Go ahead and sing with energy and devotion as you feel it in your heart. And there will be little pauses between the chants. You can almost think of the chants themselves as like a yoga posture, a kind of gentle nurturing, a gentle unfolding of the heart's natural love. And then in between, we want to assimilate that. We want to make that feeling become a permanent part of our lives, of our being. So take the little pauses. We'll just be silent during those pauses. We may have to change our setup a little bit here. And so there's a few moments in there which can extend to a minute or more, where we just want to absorb that piece. The chants all have different vibrations, different character, different feeling and message. And so feel that in yourself and draw it in, assimilate it, consume it, and make it part of your own being. Om Namo Bhagavate
This is a chant to Yogananda written by Swami Kriyananda, and it uses an ancient Hindu melody. Shri Yogananda, guide me steal into my heart and banish my delusions. Shri Yogananda, guide me steal into my heart and banish my delusions. Shri Yogananda, guide me steal into my heart and banish my delusions. Shri Yogananda, guide me steal into my heart and banish my delusions. Shri Yogananda, guide me steal into my heart and banish my delusions. Shri Yogananda, guide me
I do steal to my heart at once, banish my illusions. I do steal to my heart at once, banish my illusions. Steal into my heart of hearts, banish my illusions. Steal into my heart of hearts, banish my illusions. Steal into my heart of hearts, banish my illusions.
This evening we will share some stories later on. And this is an opportunity for us to share on both a sacred and a divine level and also on a human level. We're sharing from our own home, and we're sharing to your own home, presumably. And so feel this human connection, which is really a divine connection. And so this next chant that we'll sing is a chant for sweetness. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do seek.
Thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I seek. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do seek. In the thought my mind unthroned, in the thought my mind unthroned, I taste thy name. So sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows who you have known. He knows who you have known. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetest which I do see. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetest which I do see. In the fall of my mind I'm born, in the fall of my mind I'm born, I tell taste thy milk, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows you like that. He knows you like that. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. In the thought of my love, in the thought of my love, I taste thy love, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows you like hell. He knows you like hell. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. In the thought of my mind, in the thought of my mind, I taste thy love, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows you like that. He knows you like that. Thou art my life, thou art my life. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. Thou art my life, thou art my life. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. In the thought of my life, in the thought of my life, I taste thy love, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows you like that. He knows you like that. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetest which I can see. Thou art the sweetest which I can see.
sing thy name, I will drink thy name, get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, get all drunk with thy name. Om Guru, 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 Om Guru. I will dance through hearts, I will dance through lives, sing thy name and sing thy name. I will dance through hearts, I will dance through lives, sing thy name and sing thy name. Om Guru, 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 I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Guru, 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 I will dance through hearts, I will dance through lives, sing thy name and sing thy name. I will dance through hearts, I will dance through lives, sing thy name and sing thy name. Om Guru, 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 I will sing thy name, I will sing thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. Om Guru, 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 dance through hearts, I will dance through lives, sing thy name, sing thy name. I will dance through hearts, I will dance sing thy name, sing thy name. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru. Sing thy name, I will drink thy name, and get all drunk with thy name. I will dance through hearts, I will dance through lives, and sing thy name, and sing thy name.
This is a chant to the Divine Mother. In the Western tradition, because of the example and preference of Christ in the Bible, we sort of have taken the Heavenly Father as the main way that we relate to God. But in the East, God is worshipped as both Heavenly Father and Divine Mother. And the Mother is more approachable. The Mother is the all compassionate, all forgiving, all merciful. And so as we sing this chant, we're calling to the Divine Mother. Mother, I give you my soul call. You can't remain hidden anymore. Come out of the silent sky. Come out of the mountain glen. Come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence. So call to the Divine Mother with deep devotion in this chant. Have a short meditation at the end of this chant. Mother, I give you my soul, you can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden anymore. Give my mother a soul. She can't remain hidden anymore. She can't remain hidden anymore. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain glen. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain glen. Come out of my secret soul, Mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence, come out of my cave of silence. Come out of the silence, come out of the mountain, come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain, come out of my secret soul, Mother, come out of my secret soul, come out of my cave of silence, come out of my cave of silence. Mother, I give you my soul. You can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden anymore. Give my mother a soul. She can't remain hidden anymore. She can't remain hidden anymore. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain glen. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain glen. Come out of my secret soul, Mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence, come out of my cave of silence. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain glen. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain glen. Come out of my secret soul, Mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence, come out of my cave of silence. Mother, I give you my soul.
You can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden anymore. Give my mother a soul, soul. She can't remain hidden anymore. She can't remain hidden anymore. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain deep. Come out of the silent sky, come out of the mountain deep. Come out of my secret soul, mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence, come out of my cave of silence. Come out of my secret soul, mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my secret soul, mother, come out of my secret soul. Come out of my cave of silence, come out of my cave of silence. Mother, I give you my soul, soul, soul. You can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden anymore. Give my mother a soul, soul, soul. She can't remain hidden anymore. She can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden anymore. You can't remain hidden
Now I'd like to read to you a story. This story concerns a monastery that had fallen upon hard times. Once a great order, as a result of waves of anti-monastic persecution in the 17th and 18th centuries, and the rise of secularism in the 19th century, all its branch houses were lost, and it had become decimated to the extent that there were only 5 monks left in the decaying mother house, the abbot and 4 others, all over 70 years of age. Clearly, it was a dying order. In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was a hut that a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used for a hermitage. Through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the old monks had become a bit psychic, so they could always sense when the rabbi was in his hermitage. "The rabbi is in the woods. The rabbi is in the woods again," they would whisper to each other. As he agonized over the imminent death of his order, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the hermitage and ask the rabbi if by any possible chance he could offer any advice that might save the monastery. The rabbi welcomed the abbot to his hut. But when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he exclaimed. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It is the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. Then they read parts of the Bible and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. They embraced each other. "It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said. "But I have still failed in my purpose for coming here. Is there nothing you can tell me, no piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?" "I'm sorry, no," said the rabbi. "I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you is that one of you is a saint." When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around him to ask, "Well, what did the rabbi say?" "He couldn't help us," the abbot answered. "We just wept together and read the Bible. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, but he said one of us is a saint. I don't know what he meant." In the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. One of us is a saint? Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here in the monastery? If that's the case, which one could it be? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he probably meant Father Abbot. He has been our leader for more than a generation. On the other hand, he might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly, Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. Certainly, he could not have meant Brother Elred. Elred gets crotchety. But come to think of it, even though he is a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Elred is virtually always right, often very right. Maybe the rabbi meant Brother Elred. But surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive. He's a real nobody. But then almost mysteriously, he has a gift for somehow always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side. Maybe Philip is a saint. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did. Suppose I am a saint. Oh God, not me. I couldn't possibly be that much for you, could I, God? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect, on the off chance that one of them might actually be a saint. And on the off chance that each monk himself might be a saint, each began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Because the forest in which it was situated was beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery, to picnic on its tiny lawn, to wander along some of its paths, even now and then to go into the dilapidated chapel to meditate. As they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed an aura of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to radiate out from them and permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery more frequently, to picnic, to play, to pray. They began to bring their friends, to show them this special place, and their friends brought their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them, then another and another. So within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order, and thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in all the realm. And so I read this story to you tonight to offer a little ray of light into our world and to suggest that if we were to begin having extraordinary respect for the God within each of us and the God in each other, and to treat our world with respect, every animal and bird, every creature with respect as a reflection of the divine, perhaps we would see that kind of change in our world. And it could be filled with light and love and peace.
I would also like to share a story. This is slightly by way of an introduction to the next chant that we'll sing, but it's very moving and touching, and it sheds a completely different light on the chant that will follow. This is the story of Swami Ram Tirtha's departure from this world and some of his final correspondence just as he's getting ready to leave the body. He was not old, he was in his 30s, and but his health was not good at the time, and he felt that it was time for him to leave. And so he wrote to one of his disciples. He referred to himself in the third person. It's very sweet, and it's a little unusual, but his name was Ram, which is a name of God. And so he says, "My son, Ram will soon be silent. His pen and tongue will fail him. Ram's body is growing weaker day by day. His mind has gotten so tired of the world that nothing interests him now. He feels as if he will go no more down to the plains. No wonder if Ram's body soon becomes inactive. Never shall he leave dear Ganga's bosom. Therefore go to your cave, practice seclusion, dive deep every moment into Ram and come out as the embodiment of Vedanta. Have no griefs, no worries, no sorrows. Feel Ram within you, with you. He is your body. He is your mind. He is your all in all. He is your own self. Emerge from your seclusion and be as Ram himself." I'll just digress for a moment. Ram Tirtha visited the United States a little over 100 years ago. It was in the early 1900s, about 1903, I believe, and which is only just a couple of years before this, when he's about to leave his body. So he was here, and he was here in California, as it happened, and in Northern California, no less. He came to San Francisco. He journeyed to Santa Rosa. He came, I believe, also to Sacramento. He journeyed on up the way towards Seattle, and was very, very well received in this country. People were amazed. They had never encountered anyone like him. I'll just finish the story. 1 week later, after he wrote this little letter that I just read, on the holiday known as Diwali, which is the festival of light in India, Ram Tirtha left his body while bathing in the Ganges. While he was being carried downstream by the current, his cook heard him say aloud, "Go, remember thy mother. If thou art destined to go thus, go. Om, Om, Om." He drew his limbs into the lotus posture and floated downstream to where the current took him underwater to a cave. Only an hour before his passing, the cook had noticed the Swami writing the following passage with tears of joy dripping from his eyes. "O death, go and strike my body. I have millions of bodies to live in. I will dress myself in the moonbeams, in the gauze made of fine silvery threads, and pass my time in tranquil rest. I will sing my songs in the form of hill streams and brooks, in the form of rolling waves. I will move on. I am the soft-footed wind which walks on in ecstasy. I am the ever-gliding form which goes on as time. I descended as waterfalls on the mountain slopes, reviving the faded plants. I made the roses burst into laughter. I made the nightingale sing her mournful ditties. I knocked at the doors and woke up the sleeping ones, wiping the tears of one, blowing the veil from the face of the other. I teased those near and also far. I teased you too. Lo, I go, with nothing in my possession." Among the stories of Ram Tirtha's time in the United States, it emerged that he was extraordinarily childlike. And that gives the character to this chant that, for me anyway, was missing. This is this chant is called Swami Ram Tirtha's song, or Swami Ram Tirtha's chant. And the words have tremendous power, but we also have to realize that the power of the infinite is also the power of the child. To live with a pure heart is to play with universes like little soap bubbles. And so he could sing this song in that childlike spirit and feel his unity with universes. None can atone me, say an angel. None can atone me, say an angel. The world turns aside to make room for me. The world turns aside to make room for me. I come a blazing light, the shadows must flee. I come a blazing light, the shadows must flee. Hail, O ye oceans, divide up and part. Hail, O ye oceans, divide up and part. The parched up and scorched up, be dried up, be part. Parched up and scorched up, be dried up, be part. None can atone me, say none can atone me, say beware, O ye mountains, stand not in my way. Beware, O ye mountains, stand not in my way. Your ribs will be shattered and tattered today. Your ribs will be shattered and tattered today. Friends and counselors may waste not your breath. Friends and counselors may waste not your breath. Take up my orders, devour up ye dead. Take up my orders, devour up ye dead. None can atone me, say none can atone me, say I ride on the tempest, astride on the gale. I ride on the tempest, astride on the gale. My gun is the lightning, my shots never fail. My gun is the lightning, my shots never fail. I chase as a huntsman, I aid as I seize. I chase as a huntsman, I aid as I seize. The trees and the mountains, the land and the sea. The trees and the mountains, the land and the sea. None can atone me, say none can atone me, say I hitch to my chariot the fates and the guns. I hitch to my chariot the fates and the guns. In the voice of thunder proclaim it to God. In the voice of thunder proclaim it to God. Howl, O ye winds, blow, bugles blow. Howl, O ye winds, blow, bugles blow. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Liberty, liberty, liberty. None can atone me, say none can atone me, say the world turns aside to make room for me. The world turns aside to make room for me. I come a blazing light, the shadows must flee. I come a blazing light, the shadows must flee. Hail, O ye oceans, divide up and part. Hail, O ye oceans, divide up and part. Parched up and scorched up, be dried up, be part. Parched up and scorched up, be dried up, be part. None can atone me, say none can atone me, say beware, O ye mountains, stand not in my way. Beware, O ye mountains, stand not in my way. Your ribs will be shattered and tattered today. Your ribs will be shattered and tattered today. Friends and counselors, pray waste not your breath. Friends and counselors, pray waste not your breath. Take up my orders, devour up ye dead. Take up my orders, devour up ye dead. None can atone me, say good angel.
none can atone me save. I ride on the tempest, astride on the gale. I ride on the tempest, astride on the gale. My gun is the lightning, my shots never fail. My gun is the lightning, my shots never fail. I chase as a huntsman, I eat as I seize. I chase as a huntsman, I eat as I seize. The trees and the mountains, the land and the sea. Trees and the mountains, the land and the sea. None can atone me save. None can atone me save. I hitch to my chariot the fates and the guns. I hitch to my chariot the fates and the guns. In the voice of thunder proclaim it a drum. In the voice of thunder proclaim it a drum. Howl, O ye winds, blow, bugles blow. Howl, O ye winds, blow, bugles blow. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Liberty, liberty, liberty. I'm gonna tell me so. I'm gonna tell me so.
This next chant was sung by Yogananda on the day that he became a Swami, when he took his vows of renunciation and formally left his family life behind and became a monk. The chant is, no birth, no death, no caste have I, father, mother have I none. I am he, blessed spirit, I am he. And we'll sing 4 verses to this chant. There are 2 extra ones that gave the broad words to in Autobiography of a Yogi. No birth, no death, no caste have I. No birth, no death, no caste have I. Father, mother have I none. Father, mother have I none. I am he, blessed spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed spirit, I am he. Oh, I am he, blessed spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed spirit, I am he. Mind or intellect, nor ego feeling. Mind or intellect, nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth, nor metals and mine. Sky nor earth, nor metals and mine. I am he, blessed spirit, I am he, I am he,
Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Beyond all fancy, formless and mind, beyond all fancy, formless and mind, free from dreams of all earthly life, free from dreams of all earthly life. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, oh, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, oh, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. No birth, no death, nor cast away, no birth, no death, nor cast away. Father, Mother, have I known, Father, Mother, have I known. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Oh, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Mind nor intellect nor ego feeling, mind nor intellect nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth nor metals and mine, sky nor earth nor metals and mine. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Oh, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Beyond all fancy, formless and mind, beyond all fancy, formless and mind, free from dreams of all earthly life, free from dreams of all earthly life. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, oh, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free from dreams of all earthly life, free from dreams of all earthly life. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, oh, I am He, I am He. Blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, oh, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, oh, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He.
We'll sing Yogananda's chant. From this sleep, Lord, will you wake me? This is for overcoming the fear of death. From the sleep, Lord, will you wake me? From this dream, Lord, will you wake me? In the I dive, in the I rise, in the I dive, in the I rise, in thy sea, in thy sea, from this Lord will you wake me? From this dream, Lord, will you wake me? In thee I am born, in thee I die, in thee I am born, in thee I die, to live forever in thee, to live forever in thee. From the sleep, Lord, will you wake me? From this dream, Lord, will you wake me? In thee I dive, in thee I rise, in thee I dive, in thee I rise, in thy sea, in thy sea. From this sleep, Lord, will you wake me? From this dream, Lord, will you wake me? In thee I am born, in thee I die, in thee I am born, in thee I die, to live forever in thee, to live forever in thee. From this sleep, Lord, will you wake me? From this dream, Lord, will you wake me? In thee I dive, in thee I rise, in thee I dive, in thee I rise, in thy sea, in thy sea. From this sleep, Lord, will you wake me? From this dream, Lord, will you wake me? In thee I am born, in thee I die, in thee I am born, in thee I die, to live forever
From this sleep, Lord, wake me. From this sleep, Lord, wake me. From this sleep, Lord, wake me. From this sleep,
We'll sing now the chant Jai Guru Paramhansa Yogananda. And this chant, the words Jai Guru very simply mean victory to the Guru, which is another way of saying victory to the highest in ourselves, the highest part of our consciousness. Words came to me in a very deep way, in a very deep state. These words were sung to me, actually. And they came to me with the feeling of being a kind of, I wouldn't quite say an explanation of the word Jai Guru, but rather a kind of incentive or a kind of way of giving us an understanding of how to achieve that, how to actually manifest Jai Guru. And the words are, with the deepest devotion of heart, soul, and breath, be free from all bondage of birth, life, and death. This is the role of the Guru, in fact, is to free us from all delusion. That we have to do our part. The Guru doesn't do it for us, and he certainly doesn't do it to us. He doesn't impose it on us. We have to go and meet the Guru halfway. And this heart, soul, and breath, we have to raise the energy of the heart. We have to offer our soul. We have to offer our very breath into the process, into the practice, into the energy of the flow of that offering. Make that offering a complete offering. And that's when we can receive the freedom from birth, life, and death, freedom from the bondage of birth, life, and death. So try these words on for size. I wanted to give the story behind them, and also so you can hear them more clearly in case the sound doesn't come through clearly.
Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. With the deepest devotion of heart, soul, and brain, be free from all bondage of birth, life, and death. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. With the deepest devotion of heart, soul, and brain, be free from all bondage of birth, life, and death. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. With the deepest devotion of heart, soul, and brain, be free from all bondage of birth, life, and death. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. With the deepest devotion of heart, soul, and brain, be free from all bondage of birth, life, and death. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. This devotion of heart, soul, and brain, be free from all bondage of birth, life, and death. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai, Guru Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai, Guru Jai. Hare Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Hare Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Hare Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Hare Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Hare Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Hare Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai.
We'll close with this chant. Om Namo Narayana. Narayan was an avatar of Vishnu, which is to say an incarnation of God in the form of the preserver, the comforter, the one who sustains life. And so as we chant this, feel that divine presence in your heart. Om
Let's close now by offering healing prayers. Visualize the world surrounded by God's infinite golden light. See everyone you know who are in need of healing energy, filled with that light. Every cell, every atom, permeated with God's light. And let's pray together. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Thou art omnipresent.
Thou art omnipresent.
Thou art in all thy children.
Thou art in all thy children.
Manifest thy healing presence.
Manifest thy healing presence
In all bodies.
in all bodies,
All minds.
all minds,
And all souls.
and all souls.
Rub your hands together. Let's chant Om together, channeling God's blessing. Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
God bless you.
Live in that light.